Good evening and welcome to Pin TV live show on Facebook with the usuals. Doc over there at the helm, Stewie in the corner there,
hello.
Myself and our special guest Si Paton.
Special gash.
Oh, special gash.
Where's all my hair gone?
I don't know.
What happens when you come in here?
So before we get talking to Si from the BDS and BES etc, and obviously the elephant in the room is the ending of the BES series, I think we need to talk about the beginnings.
The beginnings?
Where it all came from, where it started for you. I think people need to know about you, really. So what was the start of riding with you?
I had a BMX when I was a kid, 82, Moto 1.
You are a BMXer,
Yeah.
aren't you, at heart? Would you say
Surprised
at
he wants
heart?
to talk to us. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're little bikes though, aren't they? And he's a little,
Little kid.
I've got a BMX.
he's on a pillow already.
So yeah, no, I rode BMX as a kid. I wasn't very good. I lived in a council block of flats with a single mom, so I didn't even... The local BMX track to me was right next to Winson Green Prison in Birmingham. And if you went there, you used to put your money in your sock.
Yeah.
Because if not, you'd lose it.
Oh really?
But you used to get taxed. down there. It was
Oh, really?
Summerfield Road. If anyone knows Birmingham, Winson Green Prison, it's literally Handsworth. It was as rough as a bear's paw.
Really?
Yeah, you had to go down there like 20 of you at a time.
I'll keep my hand on my watch tonight then.
So yeah, so it was really moody. So yeah, we used to go down that local Heath Street BMX track.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. And then got into skateboarding.
Yeah.
I was a skateboarder for quite a few years. So some real good friends I'm still friends with now that ride. Chris Oakley. Yeah, Dan White
Yeah,
from Cube.
He's really good.
He is a good skater.
Yeah, he's a good skater.
Frontside grinds like nobody else.
Yeah.
Droitwich Banks. It's above your head.
Yeah,
So apparently, yeah.
So skating was
Anyway.
was a big thing for me, and so a lot of old people call me Jester.
Yeah, why do they call you that?
No, I'm not going to go down that road.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I was going to say
there was a
something
gay
like
bar
that.
in Birmingham called the Jester, and they thought I worked there, but I didn't. I
Yeah.
genuinely didn't work there. I worked in the offices above, and I went, "Oh, that's where I work."
Oh,
and
right,
we went
fair
past in the
enough.
bus, and they all thought I pointed to the Jester pub, but it was
we'll
Scarlet
put
House.
that one to bed for anybody that's interested.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, and then I hooked up with Anthony Butty. And, do you know what I mean? Like,
Name rings a bell.
He was a top BMXer back in the day. Lived in Birmingham, shop called Autograph. He worked in there, and so started off doing a couple of BMX races with him. Did a couple of years doing the nationals. Wasn't very good, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then I had a mountain bike when I was going to going to Birmingham Wheels. Had a Carrera mountain bike, which was
Oh
rubbish,
yeah, that
but,
classic brand.
with the U brake down the bottom,
Yeah.
upside down.
AD 990. Well, that's what it was on the BMX, wasn't it?
You break your arm because the bike doesn't break.
Yeah.
So I got that, and then I had two Zins, which was based in Smethwick, which is where I was from. They did some nice Reynolds 753. First ever Hope disc brake,
Yeah.
and it had that Campag group set on it
Yeah,
as
yeah, I
well.
remember that. Yeah.
And that was mega money.
What year was that then?
91, 92, 92.
Was it? Because we didn't start racing downhill until 95, 6.
Yeah.
So when did you start racing downhill then?
I did quite well at the Malverns a few times. Got right through to on the old. I used to race once a year. It was at the Malverns.
Right.
I think I got through to the last 8, and then Rob
that's good-
Warner.
that's good
Rob
going.
Warner knocked me out because my chain came off. I was riding on a Klein.
Yeah.
Green Klein.
I had a problem there on a
You
Klein.
had a Klein,
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember the
Yeah.
Klein skin suit you used to wear. That was
I
interesting.
got in
Yeah.
trouble there, didn't I? Unfortunately, I had a bit of a crash on the slalom and snapped the forks off it, and then borrowed a hot chili, wasn't it? Remember the hot
Hot
chilies?
chilies, yeah,
Hot
yeah.
chilies, and sod's law, I got a middle page spread in MBUK on a hot chili when I rode for Klein. So that deal ended quite quickly.
Did you have a big wig on?
Yeah, I had a wig on.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember going to Malverns with Stu, and he was a bad influence, and we get that hammered that you'd be racing the next day, and quite often I'd spend the next day in the tent throwing up. You could handle your drink then.
Yeah, not anymore.
The Malverns. Imagine if someone brought that back.
Oh,
Imagine.
mate, somebody
Imagine.
needs to do it.
Imagine.
You need to do it.
Mm.
You're in a position now to do that. You've got the time. We'll come back to that one
That's
anyway.
interesting.
You don't know where I was last Friday, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Did you recognise it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't, but no.
Watch this space.
Right,
Let's keep that
okay.
quiet.
So,
So, yeah,
I'm just going to interrupt. Sorry. Get your questions in, by the way. Fire them in. All things racing. That's all I'm going to say. All things racing. send them in. Doc, feel free to interrupt when you want with any questions, because you know how he rambles on.
Right, yeah, I will do, guys. So I'm going to tell you, I started racing with Nigel Page.
Yeah.
I moved to Liverpool, I was working there.
Yeah.
Scouse Mike.
Yeah.
And that's where I think when we started hanging around with you. Roddington
Trails, yeah. Trails, yeah.
Flem Dog, Tony Fleming.
God, yeah, I remember him coming up, yeah.
He's the man to teach you to jump, because he used to stand there and punch you in the arm, give you a dead arm unless you did the jump.
Big lad as well.
He was a big Scouse.
Maybe that's what I need.
He was a big unit, yeah. So then we used to go to the races, and I even remember when you had a bike and Dave Garland sorted it out. We were at A Forest. Guy Martin came to that race.
Did he?
Yeah. On the Friday and practiced.
Yeah. Did he?
Illegally.
Oh, right.
And then turned around and said he didn't want to race. But he said because the ground wasn't even. I was like, what are you on about? You go around the TT course. He got the record for going around.
When was this?
Oh dear.
A long time ago.
Wow.
2,000 years ago.
Right,
And he said no.
Yeah,
He said the track keeps changing.
Oh right.
And he didn't want to race.
Wow.
He said it was dangerous.
I've been trying to get an interview with him for
Yeah,
a couple of years. Absolutely impossible.
But you had a bike and you got it done by Dave Garland, and you were pressing up and down, and when I've had my suspension done, what do you reckon? I was like, oh, no, that's knackered. And you were like, no, it's really good.
Was that that was when we were on Giant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we used to run the forks very soft.
Yeah.
And they were so plush, but
that was the start.
I
And I think you finished 6th then.
Oh god.
That was when the big jump was there, and me, you and Donnie were all lined up to do it. And Steve Jones from Dirt, who can't jump, sorry Steve.
Yeah, I think I can jump better than Steve
He
Jones.
rode around the wall, he wall rode it.
Did he?
Yeah, that big jump at A Forest, the coffin jump.
Yeah, yeah.
And we all stood and
Yes, I
we were
remember
lined
that.
up from the rock garden.
Yeah.
We were the first to do it. I remember that. That was when you were good.
Donnie did it first, or you did it first, and we all overjumped it by about 50 foot. Because we hit it about in 9th gear at about 100 miles an hour.
That was actually, for anybody that knows A Forest and they know the coffin jump, it's a lot lower now because obviously over the years it's shrunk, but it's quite tall at the time, wasn't it?
At the time it was the biggest.
And there was no trees around it. The trees, remember, it was quite open, wasn't it?
It was the biggest jump in the UK area, in the UK scene at the time. Anyway,
So
that's how I met Stu.
and then you started doing the dragon races, and
This is your life.
yes, and me and you were mega competitive, weren't we, back in those days? And I remember we went to Stu and I were lucky enough that he invited us to compete in the Legends race last year at Antistinog. And you told me that weekend about how you checked on Roots and Rain. You'd looked into mine and yours races.
Not competitive anymore, obviously.
Oh yeah, have you got this written down?
I've wrote this down.
Come on, tell us
Tell
us about what you said.
So Jim is a novice racer. Jim's only done 97 races.
Yeah.
Stu's done 175.
I must have got that
This
wrong.
is on Roots and Rain, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right,
I might
okay.
have this wrong. I did 190 races. And I haven't
Yeah.
really raced in 10 years. I've done
Wow.
about 5 races in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
We've raced each other 25 times.
Yeah.
Who do you think's won the most out of me and you?
I know who's won. Who
Have
do you
you-
think's won, Stu?
Oh.
Who do you think's won?
Only because you told me.
Well, he wouldn't come in gloating if he had won.
Yeah. He wouldn't have written that down if he hadn't
No, I
won,
wouldn't
would
have.
he?
Well, maybe.
So did you win?
I think you won by 1, didn't you? Is that right?
Really? Was it that close?
Jim won by 13 wins over me.
Oh, did you?
Congratulations.
Oh, cheers.
There you go.
It's not
Thanks.
starting out as a very good
But-
evening for you, is it?
No, but if you add the total combined times of those races, those 25 races, Jim did a combined time of 1 hour 18 minutes and 32 seconds. I did 1 hour 18 and 17 seconds.
Oh my god.
That's
What, in
pretty close.
100?
No, in 25
Oh, 25
times that
races,
we've
right.
met.
I was gonna say, oh, right,
So-
wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fair
So-
play.
Yeah, so I checked out mine and yours results.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so obviously...
Shall I tell you about your results?
Go on, tell me. Well, I don't know what crap you're
So
going to come up
Stu
with.
versus
but we'll
Jim
see.
versus Si,
Oh,
we've
God.
raced each other 23 times.
Yeah.
Who else?
We've never ever beaten
Like
them.
in the not,
Oh, have
you
we?
might be you were elite and
Oh,
we
right.
were masters.
Yeah.
Jim did a time of 1 hour 11 minutes and 30 seconds
In the 23.
in the 23 times.
All right.
I did 1 hour 11 minutes and 18 seconds,
Oh, God,
so
that's
12 seconds quicker. Yeah, over 23 races. So literally about an average about 1.8 seconds quicker
Yeah.
time we've met.
That's still close, isn't it, really?
There you go, and that's it.
And what did he do it in? Come on.
So she did it in 1 hour, 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
Smoked.
So by 9 minutes. 9 minutes, you beat us.
Oh well, it's just as well you've found your fortune in, or not as the case
Do you know,
may be, organising events.
I've never beat him in a race, and there was one race last year, do you remember it, where I was sure I'd beaten him. It was one of his first Enduros, wasn't one of yours, it might have been another one that doesn't go anymore. And I was absolutely buzzing because we were like following each other down, and I'd sort of worked out, I was like, I think I've beat him.
I think you'd beat
I've got him. And we went in, and I hadn't plugged my transponder in to leave when you leave, so I had no time. I was absolutely devastated.
He was peed off.
It was going to be my first time that I'd ever beaten Stu.
I do think that Jimmy beat me that day for sure, because I fell off 2 or 3 times and you rode real good that day. Yeah. But because you didn't do the right thing, I took the glory.
Yeah.
So check out Roots and Rain. Seb Frost does it. Great website.
Yeah.
You can put in your nemesis in there, so you can compare your times if you wanted to compare them with Steve Pete, Danny Hart, whatever.
Yeah.
And see who your and it also comes up with who your nemesis was. Mine used to be Adrian Bradley.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's the guy who runs Antistiniog now.
Yeah. You might not reckon. When I was racing it, he used to weigh I think like 22 stone.
Yeah.
He was a big lad.
Yeah.
And he won the.
You wouldn't argue with him now, would you?
Did you know he won the Welsh Slimmer of the Year award?
Did he?
Yeah, he used to have them shakes, one for breakfast, one for lunch.
Slim Fast.
Slim Fast.
Did
He was on
he?
the Slim Fast plan for 6 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going to interrupt
Machine
again
gun.
and say why me and Stu have got very hot heads right now.
That's a good one.
With an invisible bubble on the top. Look at this. See, that's the bubble. There it is. It's green, like the green screen behind us. But this is a good friend of ours. Do you know the information on this, Stu?
I've got all the information. It's a friend of ours, Paul Judd, who's watching now.
Hi, Juddy.
Right, Paul.
Thank you very much for the merchandise. And he started a new company selling
Bob-lats, t-shirts,
t-shirts, hoodies, the
clothing,
usual.
basically.
Yeah. So I think the information that you need will be it's 6'7" the product anyway, and you probably can't see the 6 because it's green, but it's 6'7". Look on Facebook. There you go. And also, if you Google it, by all accounts, it's on the second page, and it's got a website. But the stuff isn't actually available until February. But if these hats are anything to go by, this
is the
really good hat.
Say it's a
'cause
nice,
very
comfy
warm.
hat.
Very
Nice, comfy hat.
fits all sizes,
Inviting.
all sorts of peanuts.
So,
While you plug in and you mentioned BDS Legends, I got a couple of those exclusive.
I've still got
BDS
some. I've
Legends.
still got about 6 of them in my garage that
Have
you
you?
give me. Yeah,
They're-
no one's having them.
They're for like competition.
Oh,
I got a few of the little bits and pieces as
Very
well.
nice.
So yeah, there you go.
Well, that's very kind of you. I'm sure everybody appreciate that anyway.
so where were we? We were in the days of
Racing,
racing,
back
Welsh,
in the day,
Welsh Dragon,
which were awesome.
late 90s, early noughties. What about? Did you get into your commentating before you got into race promoting?
Yeah. So I used to do. I was always good at talking.
We've noticed that.
So yeah, I used to.
Let me get a bit more comfortable because I can feel a lot of talking coming on from side. So I'm going to relax.
I
If
think
nobody minds and do this.
I can't remember if I did it first with Pierce Cycles or with Dave Morgan.
Yeah.
But Dave Morgan, bless him, used to do the time. Used to organise the MPS, which was
Oh, we
before the
remember Dave
BDS.
Morgan.
Yeah. So Dave Morgan used to do the time, organise the race, do the timing and the commentating at the same time, which was probably not the best use of all his skills.
Yes.
So I started doing the commentating.
He hated me. I tell
Okay.
you now.
I wonder why that was. But
Yeah.
anyway,
This was the days when I was writing for Dirt, and I did all the race reviews for any of the British Downhill or MPS as it was
MPS.
called, and they were all very flat, and I tended to speak.
You were very
on-
honest, weren't you?
I spoke my mind a little bit too much, put it that way, but
That's
it
another
did improve the sport. I like to
There was a
think.
lot of friendships made in that queue.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well,
Can I tell you what? That's where I started organising the BDS. With Steve Parr, the MPS, because we were stood at Cum Khan and it was tiddling down with rain, And do you remember Sue and her husband? They used to be Dave Morgan's right-hand man. And
No, I don't. I probably would.
I do,
remember
but I can't-
faces.
I'm sure it was Sue. And and it was tiddling down rain. We stood in the queue about an hour and a half, and it was just atrocious. And Warner went to the front of the queue and gave the woman a load of grief. Warner, and made her cry. Everyone was like, "Oh God."
Lewis King, he used to be like that as well, didn't he?
Yeah, this woman was in tears, and then Warner said to me in the queue, he said, "Si, you could organise a better show than this." And I went,
Because Warner said it to you.
when he got everyone in the queue, to go, "What do you reckon that Si runs it?" And everyone went, "Yeah," and they clapped, and it was like, "All right, we'll have a pop."
And here you are.
But I did it with Steve Palmer. We had a good 3 years.
And were you were writing for Descent World at the
Descent
time?
World? So Johnny Beckett. So it now belongs to Tommy Wilkinson.
Right.
He now owns it. Johnny does some work. So does Ian Linton, good photographer.
Yeah.
So not just Scottish stuff. There's a lot of global stuff on there as well.
Nice guy in Linton.
Yeah. Great website, Descent World. I even called my shop after it, Descent Gear.
Oh, right. Yes, yeah.
That's no longer, but anyway. I worked for Descent World. Did a lot of race reports and product tests, and that was alright. That was at the time, that was before Dirt didn't have a website. MBUK never had. It was the first proper mountain bike website.
Definitely, yeah.
All the other magazines just had a website page, like a holding page that just said magazine out on the 20th. They didn't have a website. Johnny Beckett had that website up and running
way before the other.
Way before.
Yeah.
And I met him at a cross country race with Nigel Page and Flemdog. And
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Can you just say that again for anybody that's watching, including Nigel Page? So you don't want to lose credibility for being a gnarly downhiller or what it was that Pagey is. Can you say that again? Where did you meet him?
Cross country race.
Cross country race.
Didn't you race cross country?
Did I, Eckers live?
He raced cross country for years.
So
and
what?
Titley.
And?
Yeah, I used to race cross country in the Midlands.
I bypassed that.
Have you seen that video that's Titley's dad put online?
I've seen that, yeah.
There was a video put online, was it today, last night, was it?
Yeah.
He's on an old climb.
Is that
And
Plymouth?
it's
Yes.
Titley and PT.
Tomac.
Yeah, Tomac was
and the
racing,
guys
right,
in its
Tinker Juarez.
was it a World XC in the UK?
Yeah, it was,
Down at Plymouth about 92.
Yeah.
Ish.
It's really old school, that is.
So we were there, me and Pagey knew Flemdog, and we were all in vans on flat pedals, everyone else was clipped in.
Yeah.
And we saw this little dude, Johnny Beck, I'm sure he was on a GT, and he had a pair of Vans on as well. Flemdog raced in a BMX open face helmet and did a lap, and his head boiled and he gave in. White, I think it was like a big white Echo or Bell helmet, but there you go. So I started commentating with Pierce Cycles, I'm pretty sure. Did it for free, which is a good thing to do. I've done a lot of stuff for free.
I know about working for free.
You made up for it.
Don't you worry.
Oh yeah, I have, yeah. You need to pay the bills. I did that, and it was great working for those guys.
Yeah.
And I was riding as well. I was racing at the time, so to me it was just I got to know the riders. I could see who was on track and what bikes.
You did do a good job.
Yeah.
You're a good commentator, actually. Yeah.
I did all right.
I think you're a good commentator.
Then I went.
It's just like you have to have a special quality to do it, don't you?
Yeah.
Be a bit of a cock,
Like,
really.
Talk shite for hours.
Stephen Hardcastle, I don't know if he's watching. Apparently, you've got to be a bit of a cock who can do it.
You got to be a bit cheeky, haven't you?
Well, there you go. But you've got to have the front to give people grief as well, and
Yes.
you're good at that anyway.
I think it helps if I could ride the bike on the course as well.
Well, you know the game, don't you? I suppose,
Yeah.
in a fashion.
But not, some people don't know that. I remember Manon Carpenter at the Legends race. She was some riders were talking, the big drop at the end of Antostiniog, the cliff drop thing, and people were going, "Oh, I bet Si Paton wouldn't ride off this." And she was like,
"Yeah, they were gutted though, weren't they?"
And they were like, "Yeah, he would."
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like,
he can ride a bike.
Yeah.
Four cross national champion, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Downhill.
We're not worthy.
2003 national champs, third.
Yeah, like we say, he doesn't like to talk much about himself. So when
it was a long time ago.
Then you got into was it called BDS from when you first started it?
Yeah, so me and Steve Parr ran it for 3 years.
Yeah.
To be honest, it was a disaster. Not me and Steve Parr, but just the series. the sponsorship wasn't good. The rider numbers were down, and we walked out. Well, Steve left the series. We didn't make any money.
Yeah.
We worked. We all both had full-time jobs, and it wasn't financially viable.
Those days, mountain biking did have a bit of a pit, didn't it? In those days, it was a bit of a low spot.
10, 11, 12 years ago. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was in a. I'm not going to blame Dave Morgan, but at that time the series was on its arse really. The best thing that happened was working with Dave Franziosi, who used to run Southern Downhill.
Yes,
him and his brother used to own it.
Yeah.
That website, which is now turned into Rido.
So it's Franziosi. I always thought it was Francoisi.
Franziosi.
Ah, right.
Malvern or Malvern?
Malvern's.
Malvern.
Bowie. Yeah. Who knows?
There you go. So me and Dave.
Chicken, egg, cock. Carry on.
So Dave was brilliant. Dave was awesome.
Yeah.
Dave really helped. He brought Halo on board, got a lot of investment from sponsors, and really did a great job.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to health issues, one too many McDonald's and all that, he had to. He's been ill again lately. He needs to calm. Dave, you need to calm down. He's been in hospital again, so he's out now. But
get well soon.
I'm sure we'll see you next week at Core. He'll be at Core, won't he? With ice on, is he not with them anymore?
He takes photos of tractors now.
Oh, does he?
He's a really good farming photographer.
Well, maybe when he's had enough of that, he can suck wind out of a room, because he'd then be an X-Tractor fan.
I wonder.
Oh my God!
I wondered where.
That's one of them jokes that you always wait for an opportunity to say it.
Right? Okay. So wait for that for 6 episodes.
6 years.
So Dave had to. Depart.
Come on, you're rambling.
Dave departed.
We told you we were going to give you something.
So then we went on to the BDS, and the BDS is all right. It's sponsored. Well, it's not really sponsored now by HSBC. HSBC.
Yeah, it's going really. I don't think I've got any issues with the BDS.
That's a positive thing, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, but
it sounds like you were going to say a but.
No. So Sky's gone. HSBC has took over from Sky.
Yeah.
Sky didn't put any money into the downhill, BMX, cross country. They just put money into the Lycra crew.
So with HSBC, if someone crashes and hits a bank, what type of bank's it going to be? Is it going to be a brick one or just a mound? Are you going to have cash points at the races?
No, we're not going to have cash points at the races. So basically, all the national series will be will be sponsored by HSBC. So the BMX.
So they're putting money into it.
That's brilliant.
They're putting money into British Cycling.
Is that brilliant? I mean, were you buzzing when they told you that?
Right. Okay. I'm not sure I'm a massive fan of that anyway, but there you go. A lot of money goes into British cycling as a pot, and the fact of the matter is,
a teeny bit goes to mountain biking.
I think not as much goes to mountain biking as it should, but we won't go into that one this week.
We'd always like a lot more.
We'd like a bit more, wouldn't we?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm sure everybody would. Yeah. Anyway, so we've got a good series. You've
the series is going to go strong. We've got 6 events coming up. I'll tell you quickly where they are. So first round, Nant G, North Wales, and Tostiniog will be doing the uplift there. So great venue, overlooks the Irish Sea. Then we go to Fort William, 3 weeks before the World Cup. So we've already got some top international riders coming. Some of the younger ones as well. Some female riders. Valentina Holl.
Yes,
keep an eye out for
I know Valentina Holl. I've ridden with her. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
She was where was that? That was in Italy. She was testing. Is that
bits. The young girl? Right?
Amazing.
14.
She was
amazing
30.
Rider.
This was 2 years ago. I can't remember, some part of Italy, and she came testing stuff with Enduro Mag, and I could just about keep up with her. She's 13,
yeah, you said
and
she's amazing.
I think she's done. She does the German national championships, and she beats all the elite women, and she gets up there in the elite males.
Awesome,
I mean, she's a future Rachel.
Yeah,
definitely.
I met her the last 2 years at that place. I'm giving that cap away. So Faust Fisladis, where they do the Kona International Rookie Games.
Say that again.
So Faust Fisladis in Austria.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
Where they wear the Lederhosen.
Yeah.
So she's coming, which is good. So we're off to Fort William, and it'll be nice and sunny like it was last year. Then we go to Rudafellin. Gazzy B had been up there last year doing some work for us on the old diggers. Put some nice jumps into
we know that hippie
track on the left hand side. Then Moilfrey, Moilfrey. I call it Moilfrey.
Farmer Jack's
Moilfrey. He's had some planning issues though.
Has he?
Yeah, the old lady over the road.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. I say Llangollen. What do you say?
Oh,
Llangollen.
you're in here, Wales here. You got to know how to say it properly. It's Llangollen.
Llangollen.
Yeah.
So definitely the top woods.
Yeah.
And we've mellowed out a little bit in there. You know that real steep bit that
Oh, the one you loved.
Yeah.
So we've took that bit out. Well, no, it's still there, but the wood was rotten because it'd been there for 5-6 years. So we've mellowed that down. It was too much of a stopper for the racing.
It was a bit charged, wasn't it?
So yeah, we've took that out, and it's still steep, but it's just more of a shoot now. And then we're hoping to go into the bottom woods, which is where when we first went to Llangollen.
Oh right, I've never rode that. Is that good?
Yeah, no, it's nearly as steep. It's pretty. There's loads of crashnating still up there. So full woods at Llangollen is
could be good.
Fingers crossed. And then to last round at Hopton, so a round in England for the first time in a number
Hopton?
of years.
Wow.
So
Hopton.
is Hopton going to have a new track for that?
No. It'll be one of the existing tracks, and we're hoping to go there and add a bit there. So I'll be working with Dave Pearce. Also, Moultrie will have the Four Cross National Champs there as well.
Brilliant.
So we'll be doing some work on extending that track and make sure that it doesn't interfere with the downhill track.
Yeah.
Because you usually have to close the downhill track off early on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Just
And hopefully it won't be windy
at the bottom.
at the top. It's always windy at the top,
It's
isn't it?
not.
Sometimes it can.
Sometimes it can be very windy.
Yeah.
But,
So
that's the beauty of a national
I think
series. We go around the country.
It's in the open hills. Yes, it
to
is.
talk
About
the special one, which is or was the British Enduro
Yes.
Series. Now I want to give a little introduction into this. Start of would it be this time last year that it was announced?
No, so Steve Parr, I actually helped him write the article for the Pink Bike.
Yeah.
His sort of exit. I spoke to him quite a bit about it and said, look, try and stick with it. But I said I'd offered to help him a bit, but he was done. So that was it. And a week later, or a few days later, I announced that I'd be organising the British Enduro Series. So that was September 2015.
Yeah. And I remember we sort of got a bit of information on this a bit earlier than everyone else. I remember I spoke to you about it, didn't I? But I had spoken to Neil Delafield about it before you, and at the time we didn't know what was going to go on with that one, and I'll be totally honest, I was like, I much preferred the idea of Neil Delafield's rounds, because on a personal note I prefer the more grassrootsy. I know a lot of racers will disagree, and I'm totally nothing against that, because it's just how you want to
everyone's
ride.
different, yeah.
We like to ride like as mates go, all going down together, blah blah blah. Nice chilled out affair. We know what happened with that. It went tits up because it wasn't taped very well. I mean, the tracks were amazing, weren't they? It wasn't taped very well, and it was almost what you could say too grassroots. But when I found out that you were doing it and it was going to be the same time, and it was almost like this, it was all virtually the same day, wasn't it, that you both announced it? And I thought,
As was 11 days before.
11 days before, okay.
It's on Facebook.
Either way, when I found out you were going to do it, part of me thought, oh shit, this is going to be too pro. It's going to be too pro. It's going to be, I know it'd be good, because obviously you do a good job with the downhill, and I was outspoken at the time. I said, no, it's going to be too elitist, which in a way I kind of think it was, because was maybe a downfall in him. Only that's a personal opinion. But you started it up and you were unlucky kind of from the start, weren't you? Like first venue.
Yeah, we went
everything
to
was against you, wasn't it?
that was like, I really felt for you there.
Feel for the team. I mean,
I did it for everybody. I mean,
we should have.
Joking apart, I'm known for speaking out against you, not in malice, but in a constructive, I'm pissed off manner. Usually after a bad race. But no, in fairness to you, you did everything right there, within reason. And the weather was awful, wasn't it?
We've never been. I don't think anyone's ever been. Even Tracy Mosley said she'd never been. I'd never been to a race in 20 odd years.
Yeah. I mean,
where the weather
I was talking to somebody the other day, and my thoughts on it were, it was like turning up after a race had been, and people had kind of left the field and made their way home. I mean, a lot of people just went, didn't they? It was awful weather. There was tape everywhere. You couldn't do sod all about it. And that was just a bad start for you. It wasn't your fault at all.
40-mile-an-hour winds, it rained, it snowed.
It was
it
awful,
hailed.
wasn't it?
Yeah. And we went back the next week for the BDS.
God.
And the pictures from the finish arena.
Yeah.
So we didn't even cross the road for the long finish arena. We finished in that at the bottom of the drop.
Yeah.
And the mud.
Yeah, it was thick anyway before we left there, wasn't it? But
yeah, it didn't dry out.
The problem is,
another problem was that while this was going on, you had the UK Enduro go on, and he was lucky with the weather. All his were perfect.
Yeah.
Was it?
But his turnout was low, as was yours for the first one. But then you had your next one was Dovey. Was that the second one?
Yeah, and the third one was Avon.
Yeah, so we went to Dovey and we were like, holy shit, this is mint. I remember, I'll never forget, I turned up and I was doubtful. I was thinking, oh God, what's it going to be like? You know, is it going to be just all, look what we're giving away to the pros, which it was a little bit. But I turned up and I got in that field and I went, wow, this looks amazing. Absolutely.
Well, it's the first thing we said. We were like, well, that's
and I hadn't really spoke to you for a long time, only at like sort of trade shows and that. And then we turned up in the field, didn't we, and nearly ran you into the, remember, winding him up straight away, nearly ran him into all the railings. And we just sort of clicked immediately, didn't we? Had a good laugh, and me and you were buzzing about it.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think you were teetering over too big a rides for a lot of people at Dovey. 50k each day was
too much.
Yeah.
We had planned to shoot.
I mean, it's good for an EWS, and it is good training for an EWS, but if you want to fill up the rides, you ain't going to get that many people who can do that much 2 days.
Having that bit of bad weather again, though, spoilt it for you. Because if it had been dry or at least decent weather all weekend, it wouldn't have been such a slog.
The tracks were amazing, though.
The tracks were amazing.
So good.
But they got destroyed by bad weather again.
Do you
but
know?
They were good.
I went well, you don't know. This Saturday, I went to Dovey, and I went on the hardtail. The last weekend of owning.
Did 32 kilometres.
Yes, but I did that. You know the stage that everyone, including me, moaned about, the top bit that was like literally unrideable. I spoke to Jerome Clements, who said I couldn't ride that. He said I was, he was doing like the tripod riding, both feet out sometimes. And I tried to ride that on a hardtail. It's changed a lot now. It's all the mud's gone, but it's still so many routes. It's like a trials course. But if you're not racing it, it's a good laugh. Yeah. But it's still there, and there's an added top bit to another bit. But it's going to be good this year. But what I'm getting at is that was just such a good race, but just a bit too much, really.
Yeah. I agree. It's beyond everybody. Most people's sort of what they're capable of. That was a big ride.
So Jerome was spent afterwards. He said I'm not going to say he wished he hadn't done it because he had the EWS the week after, but it certainly.
For those who don't know, Jerome Clements the year before was world champion, and he made like a sort of surprise appearance. Was this something you planned for a while? Did you have to jump through hoops to get him?
No. So Clive Gosling, he's old school BMX. He's the main guy at CSG. CSG, they've got a big place down in Poole, Dorset, and they do Mongoose, Charge, GT, and Cannondale. And he was like, when he signed up for the series, he was like, we'll try and get Jerome, which is always difficult to try and get the top rider to come along. But if you've got a distributor pulling. It gives, and they want to kind of gives that clout to sort of, come on Jerome, you need to come over, and that's what you need. You need those distributors as a race organiser. You need to sort of get them a bit closer and say, come and join us. But if you're putting on a good show, they're getting good publicity, and Jerome won it. So, which was and
it was a great event, but unfortunately, again low on numbers, wasn't it?
I think it was about 195 race there. So I tell you, I think the downfall with the British Enduro Series is for sure UK Enduro diluted it, probably took half the entry, so that's not going to help from day one. And I was in that situation. Well, one of us is going to buckle. So when he announced it, I was like, well, this isn't going to work. It's just not. There's not enough riders to do 2 series. So I was almost going to pull out, and I thought, well, I reckon I can get through this for the year.
But you were supporting it with the BDS, really, weren't you?
Yeah, so that was helping to fund it. Do you know what I mean? And don't forget, I've got all the infrastructure from the BDS, the vans, the pickup trucks, the generators, the easy.
You've got the whole shooting.
The whole infrastructure is already there. All I've got to do is not all, but a new backdrop and a different number boards, but it's the same equipment. To put on.
I can't help but feel that with the demise of the other race series, maybe a lot of people had decided to do the other race series, and obviously it got pulled.
Yeah.
At that point, did people want to put money into another series? Which that
Well, do you think it was
could have
too
caused
late?
you. A lot of people may have
Yeah.
thought, well, this is gone. I'm now not going to bother doing the BES because that could go as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
And that probably didn't do you any favours either.
Holiday pay, holiday booked off time.
Yeah,
stuff
exactly,
like that.
exactly.
I mean, we did
I think a lot of people just said that's enough for this year. We'll just we won't bother doing anything.
We had a guy turn up at Malfrey, going steam coming out of his ears, storming across the car park, and I was like, "This is trouble. This is trouble." And he came up to me and he was like, "That, I want my refund, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Whoa, dude, what? I've been emailing you." And he was going bonkers. This guy, he'd driven from Leeds,
Really?
and was like, I was like, anyway, I said, "Look, it's not
Where's
me.
my money?"
You've got the wrong guy."
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
"Look,
right.
I answer my emails. What are you on about? I answer my phone calls as most."
Oh, so he
people know.
thought it was the.
Yeah, he still thought
you
it was
were
me.
the
Yeah,
yeah,
and
right.
this was
Okay.
like round 3 of the BDS. He turned up at shooting.
Right.
So and that's where I got the idea. I said, look, just come to my series. I'll give you free entries.
Yeah.
Just you've travelled a long way. I'll give you free entries to all my races.
Fair play
And
to
that's
you
where I
doing
got the
that.
idea
Yeah.
of
That's
giving the free entry. You know, you get one free entry if you've entered the UK
Yeah.
Enduro. But unfortunately, it didn't.
Do you think it was almost like, I don't mean this towards you, but you think it was like too little too late? You think the damage had been done and
I
people
think
didn't
so.
trust
I
organisers?
think people had lost
Yeah.
faith, hadn't they?
It's a shame because I totally agree. I think we pitched it too high.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, from the rider's point of view, is fantastic service from the guys like SRAM, Shimano, Hope, Crank Brothers, GT85. GT85 bought bike wash, air hoses, and the lube station as well. So all that was free. If you broke a rear mech, you know, that's 200 quid.
The support was good.
Yeah.
You could go over to SRAM or Shimano and be like, and they would fit a brand new rear mech for you. I mean, that was like.
You can't moan at
That
that.
was
can you?
unbelievable, and the guys from Schwalbe were there as well.
Yeah.
Continental, Rob Scullion. You know, we gave away, I think, nearly $8,000 in prize money, actual cash. You know, Continental stumps up $6,000 for the elite riders, which is huge, and people like the Mudhugger, GT Canada. You know,
So-
the money was there, the support was there, but you all knew
You
it was going
can't
to be
force.
like.
You can't force people to go, could you? At the end of the day.
So
No.
there's a question for you.
Yeah.
If you were to go back now and say UK Enduro wasn't there as well, but you had the sort of hindsight as to what had happened or what was going to happen, how would you run it now if you could start it again? Say you're talking now to somebody who's thinking, I could do this. How would you approach it now?
So, you know, we struggled with the format, which is always difficult. You know,
Yeah.
you go 3 and 3. I mean, you came to our races. The reason why we did the 3 and 3 was you came to our races. There was a massive amount of marshals on each course.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
we were
3
only-
stages Saturday, 3
Three
stages Sunday.
So you would come and we would have 30 marshals. So there'd be close to 10 marshals on each stage. Tracy Mosey said to me, "I've never seen so many marshals."
Yeah.
But you know, that's part of our safety ethic, and you know, we spent the money on the marshals, making sure that's fair for you guys, fair and safe. I think the one day, it's still got to be a 2-day format. Practice on Saturday. I like the qualifier Saturday night, that seemed to work, and then race 5 odd stages on the Sunday. We took away the full face helmet rule and said open face helmets. I know the other week you were talking about helmets, and Neil Delafield, it was kind of a good idea saying you don't have to wear a helmet on the transition, because that would encourage you to wear a full face on the downhill. On the
whole
stages.
thing has issues.
I understood
You know
that. You can't say it's a good idea to the insurance people.
No,
No,
of
you
course.
can't.
No.
But from a riding point of view, it would make majority. If you could
Make
have
more
your
sense.
full face on the handlebar and all the
For
transitions.
the simple reason, obviously we won't go into it too much, for the simple reason that you're far more likely to fall off on a stage than you are riding uphill.
Yeah,
But there you go
correct.
anyway.
But you've got to think the other forest users. You're not the only forest
Exactly
user.
that,
There's
yeah.
other people coming down the hill.
Yeah.
Could be me in the pickup truck.
Yeah.
Could be another rider
Yeah.
that's had a
Yeah.
puncture or
Yeah.
a mechanical who's rolling.
It's always going to be a tricky one, isn't it?
So you can never say
Yeah.
you can take your helmet off while riding your bike.
Yeah.
You know, the insurance, you just get busted for it. So certainly the open face helmet, but some people would argue that. I know Steve Parr was saying to me have Friday practice, but talking to Charlie, he said like the most they ever had on a Friday was about 80 odd riders.
Not everybody can do the Friday.
So you're upsetting 200 riders that can't do Friday.
Yes, yeah.
And I think in Enduro that's massive if you can do Friday.
Of course it
practice.
is. Yeah.
It's huge.
Mm.
So you're going to upset 2/3 of the punters.
Yeah.
So
And then you've got the locals who almost don't need any practice. This is the usual thing with Enduro worldwide, though, isn't it? Is the
Wherever you go, though, somebody's
local
got a
advantage.
But that's the beauty of a national
Yeah.
series, the same as in the downhill.
Mm.
And some people moan that, Llangollen's open, people can go and practice at Llangollen. You can go and practice at Fort William.
Yeah.
Danny Hart goes to Fort William, bless him, before the World Cup. He's there
But everybody's
weeks
got-
before. That's
Yeah, I mean-
fine. It's not cheating. It's open for everyone. So I
It
would
just makes it more difficult for the general punters
So-
to be able to
yeah.
do that.
So
doesn't
what
it?
would I change? I should say a lot, but I thought what we did was really good.
Mhm.
But the people just didn't come. So
I mean,
obviously it
to
wasn't.
try and promote it to your grassroots rider, what would you do?
But I don't think you should because it's a national level series. I think the grassroots riders should be aiming to enter all those one-day regional
Yeah.
events. So,
So if you're not to if you didn't want to promote it to your grassroots rider, then you're going to know that your entries are going to be lower.
yeah.
So I'm guessing then you'd have to be throwing it at bigger sponsorship.
So that's when it should be subsidised by bigger
Yeah.
sponsors. So people like Cannondale, dipped deep into
Yeah,
their pockets
yeah.
and provided
Mm.
So did the guys from Continental, Schwalbe, Magura, some of those other companies there,
Yeah.
Shimano with Pro. So the money was coming in, which helped subsidise that.
Mm.
But when you're only averaging 180 odd riders,
It's not enough.
Do you have
to
your
make that
list?
I have got a
Well,
list. 'Cause
this
Before
is-
we go, is this the monetary thing?
yeah.
Before we go into that, do you think we should have some comment? Is anybody?
we've got
We've probably got a
loads of
lot
comments
coming.
Let's
Good
bang,
idea.
let's bang a load of
Yeah.
questions
Interesting to
out
see
there.
what people have got to
So a
say.
few questions, couple of a lot of people. Trevor Worsley being one, Spencer Lane being another. Between all the organisers, why don't they all each hold one round of a national series, which then can be part of the overall?
That's been
series?
spoken
So
about, yeah.
it's been spoken about a few
A lot.
times.
So, for sure, anybody can do that. That's not
Yeah.
it's not a massive issue if they all wanted to decide together. There is some difficulties around that, so they don't all run the same age category, which is one problem.
This is a Bemba. Surely this Bemba.
So
thing could
Bemba
be
is the
sorted
British
out.
Enduro Mountain Bike Association.
Yeah.
So basically, there's 15 odd organisers that come in. So they register up to Bemba, and there's sort of a basic rules list. You've got to wear a helmet on a transition, stuff like that. Have marshals on fire road crossings, and there's a feature on the course, a drop, or
Yeah.
the relative signage is up and stuff like that. So there's some basic guidelines. For me, it sounds controversial. Would it work? Well, it would work, but it wouldn't. Would it be a real national series? Because to me, you got to look at something that does work. Say like the EWS.
You may get slightly different organisation at each round as well.
Yeah, so different
potentially.
rules, which I'm sure happens at the EWS, different practice times, different schedule.
Mm.
For me, you need a central promoter.
Yeah.
Now, let's just say I ditched it and then turned around and said, well, you know what, next year I'd work with all, and this is, I'm not going to do this, I'm not, because I just haven't got the time and whatever the inclination to do it. But if you had the way I think it could work, if you had a central organiser that turned up with his van and had those number boards and said, right, we're going to turn up at whatever race,
A general
series,
race.
at your race,
Yeah.
your series round 3.
And call
These
that
are all
one thing.
these are all the number boards that I want you to put up. I've
Yeah.
got all the banners.
Yeah.
But then, I've got sponsorship, like say the EWS has, and we're sponsored by Fox, but your series is sponsored by.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've
Troy
got a
Lee.
conflict of interest then,
It's
haven't
like,
you?
oh, we can't do that.
Mm.
So
I suppose you've got to think about the entry money then as
Yeah.
well, because these people who are running these series, like
he's 40 quid, he's
yeah,
45,
yeah,
he's 50.
exactly.
and then you've got to suddenly think, well, I need my bit to be running all this.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
a good
it
idea.
Suddenly starts going up and getting
A
complicated.
lot of people have been speaking about it, so it's a good idea and potentially it could work. But I think it wouldn't be quite as simple as
Who handles
what it
all the entries? Does it go through each individual
Yeah.
organiser?
yeah.
I think maybe the separate organisers would almost have to cut their entry money a bit to allow a central organiser to earn
Yeah.
a bit out of it, and
Yeah.
then, like
Yeah.
you say, it's a sponsorship thing would be quite difficult, I guess.
So a central organiser would come in and maybe say, well, a couple of grand off each organiser
Yeah.
for bringing this roadshow to the party, or he could say, well, I've earned the money off the sponsorship, but then he's got to get all the organisers.
I think there's a bit more head scratching before that actual concept works, but it's definitely an idea, a good idea that could work.
Yeah,
but you know, it also needs, you know, like the prize money. You know, you need big prize money. You know, the elites. Well, you could argue he doesn't need any prize money. Well, they still race, but you know, who's going? You know, to me, if you're going to race a national level series, it needs to have, you know, who's going to do
kick to it.
Who's going to do all the media coverage?
Yeah,
the Facebook, social media stuff.
Yeah,
you know, we used to turn up with our own satellite dish. You know, so we had anywhere Egg Forest.
Yeah,
media blackout, even for phones. We could do all that, you know, and to me you need to have some services that are available where you can turn up with all those services from Shimano, Hope, Crankworth, etc. Be able to give internet out, be able to give prize money out and do all that. Will you get everyone to agree? Well, hopefully so, and fingers crossed they could make it work.
Could watch
it would certainly have some challenges.
It's possible. It is possible. It would just have to really be, I'd say,
thought about,
bashed out in a few member meetings between the organisers. So anything else, Doc? What else have we got?
An awful lot of love for Duffy last year. People saying they just thought it was absolutely awesome. Nearly killed them. But they thought it
made me ill for a week.
You know,
the plan wasn't to go right to the top like we did. Was just to go to that fire road. And that would have took about 30 minutes off the transition. So it'd have been.
It wouldn't have made a massive amount of difference though, because it was just bloody hard.
And also a lot of people saying, we need to give you a cushion because you're a lot shorter than them two. So there you go.
He's got a booster sheet already.
Thank you. There we go.
That's a bit weird.
I'll go like that.
That's better. An awful lot of love coming in for the series. People saying, shame, not enough numbers.
But you know, I was thinking about what Jim said. You know, would I do anything differently? Well, I should do because obviously it didn't work. Obviously the UK Enduro bit didn't help. You know, having transitions, it certainly needs to have transition times in there. And a lot of people were asking, you know, are the transition times for the elites the same as if I was a veteran, grand veteran, junior? And it was yes. But the transitions, you know, the amount of people that actually got penalised was like, unless you chain snapped and you know you had to walk up the transition. It was probably a handful over the series, several riders that got penalised. So
that could be the problem at Dovey though, is that you made the transition on time, but it was such a big transition that
you got nothing left in the tank.
By the end of the day, just from those transitions,
and some of those stages were 6 minutes. But it's a national series, like I say with the you know, it's the BDS.
It should be hard.
It should be.
I agree. I do agree. It should be hard,
and it shouldn't be a one-day race. It shouldn't be open. And I'm not trying to sound elitist, but the guys racing those regional races, if you're finishing in that top 50% of that category, if you're racing in veterans, and there was 50 riders and you were finishing in the top 25. That's the kind of person that should be racing the national series. It's a national series, and it
is good because it is a stepping stone for the Enduro World Series.
You need not everyone's going to race the EWS, but it's the same as the BDS. Not everyone goes, you know, the veteran riders.
But it's nice to have something as a step from a race down the road before you go to, you know, finale and get a wake up call or whatever it might be.
A lot of the difficulty also in a national series with Enduro is, if you look at downhill, you go to Scotland. Well, the same in Enduro. You go to Scotland and they've just got the best stuff up there, and they've got these like the Scottish. I think it's the POC Enduro Series. I saw the teaser for that for this year. It looked amazing.
Very cool.
And you think, well, no wonder they don't come down here. You know, you can't blame them.
No, true.
You think, oh, maybe the Scottish should support it, blah, blah, and you think, well, why would you?
It's the same.
It's pointless, isn't it?
If you get to Whistler and you speak to people in Whistler, it's like you think, why aren't all these people world champions?
But then if you put two or three rounds on in Scotland of a British Enduro Series, people who live in Devon,
it's not going to happen.
Cheers for that. You
know. I think it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
So I've spoken to a few organisers, and you know, I've had quite a few. I've had Chris Ball on the phone giving me all the support and love, and Charlie Williams, Steve Parr, Chris Roberts, Fraser from No Fuss. There was a lot of, you know, real nice people saying some nice things.
I don't think there's ever a question that the efforts that you put in with yourself and your team, that was unquestionable. You know, what you did was amazing. I don't want you to cry. Probably don't hear this very often.
Have you ever said anything nice to me before?
Of course I have, loads of times. Anyway, look, there's water under the bridge, you know. I've always had my say, but it's always constructive.
So I think,
but
a national series could come back.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it will be me, but I certainly think it needs another. Well, obviously this year's going to be taken off. Bemba may well be looking at certain group members trying to pick a round each and calling it a national series. But if a friend said to me, I want to run the national series, I'd say you've got to give it at least another 2-3 years. Let Enduro establish itself even further. Make sure people are really, really hungry for it, and then put on a national series like what we did, but perhaps better in a few. But it's got to have all those services. It's got to have that big prize money. It's got to have that media coverage as well. And it's got to have those big courses. Don't get me wrong, you can have some short courses. Eastridge was fantastic. Do you know what I mean? 25-minute transitions. Yeah. But it's like when we go to Fort William. It's a 5-6 minute track. Yeah. But then you go somewhere else and it'd be a sub 2 minute.
You've got
track.
to have variation.
Yeah. Any more questions, Doc?
We've got loads of comments rather than questions. Let me get this right. I'm just looking through. Look to New Zealand, the National Downhill Series in New Zealand. This is from Seb Frost.
Yes.
Was cancelled in October, and by the mid-October, the clubs had got together and arranged a series amongst themselves, which they run individual lanes.
Yeah.
Other people suggesting you do something similar to Hard Rock, because Hard Rock sells out in about 20 seconds.
You might have a plan for that, mightn't you?
We may well do. Hard Rock's fantastic, isn't it? I've never been. The Rafty Brothers, but it's a good show.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what some people have said.
Don't take a litre of whiskey with you. That's all I'm saying.
But this is what some people have said to me with Enduro, and listening to people, and these are some of the experts here, is people like that sort of holiday trip, that destination.
Of course they do.
It's a tick-off thing. It's like doing the Mega Avalanche, doing the Hard Rock, and not belittling it at all. It's a fantastic event. But that's what people want to do. They aspire to do that one-off event. And it's like the Mega Avalanche. People do the Mega Avalanche and then never do it again. I mean, I'm sure with the Hard Rock they go back year after year. But putting on a single event like that, that's quite got a couple of unique selling points, is huge. And who wouldn't want to do that? And again, I'm guessing and seeing some of the videos and pictures, but that's not as elitist as what say the BDS was. It's not, because there's not 2,000 top level enduro riders, is there?
No.
Because if not, then
Hard Rock.
In total, because,
Hard Rock is really, really based around grassroots.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, they haven't even got an elite category, so it's just senior, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
and Lee Johnson,
and
Aaron Ryder won it last year.
Yeah.
So there's still
but
top
there's hardly
guys
any
there.
elites there.
There's still a few top guys there, isn't there? But it's aimed at really.
But that is why
people.
I think it sells out. And obviously the Raffertys, they're well connected. They've got people they've coached for so many years who are like, right, we'll go to that because it's them, and they are selling out. I can't remember the exact figures. I think it's around about 7,000 in 10 minutes. 7,000 tickets in 10 minutes. I think it was 7 because it was 2 days of racing and got so many on Saturday. So and it's just mental.
It's a shame really that more people don't have the opportunity to be able to get to that event as a rider, because obviously it sells out because it's that good. But nonetheless, if you're not actually lucky enough to get an entry, it's still well worth going, because it's just brilliant social. It's good.
So time is ticking on.
Anyway,
so we need to get through a few other things while we're here. First of all, Doc, I think Stu can talk about product of the week.
I can. Product of the week this week is the lovely new mud guards from Rock Guards. These ones are, well, they're the new plastic ones anyway. I think you've probably seen them before, Jim. And unlike the carbon ones, they're a bit more. Howard actually gave me a demonstration of this the other day, and I'm hoping it's not going to snap it off, but very good. Carbon ones were good, but obviously with them being so rigid, if you catch them or bend them, as people have probably realised, they will white and misshape. But these ones are looking very good. They're a bit wider as well, so I think for the the bigger wheels and stuff and clearance, they'll be very good. These ones have actually got sticker kits on them, and you can have pretty much any sticker colours
the weights on these?
I don't know the exact weights. The prices are for the we'll call that is the small one. That's $19.99 for that one, and then this one is not actually the large. This is the medium.
The large is really large.
The large is very large. and this one it's still only £23.50, which I think is a bargain.
Yeah.
So they're looking really good. I'm not actually tried one out myself yet, but I use rock guards for the last couple of years, and I think this is going to be really good.
Brilliant.
So that is product of the week,
That's
and
product of the week.
they will be coming up as a prize in the next week or so anyway as well.
Do you want to line up crash of the week, Doc?
Or shall we do the first part of pick of the week? Pick of the week.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
2 parts.
This is going to be part of winning our this week's prize. So, this is picture of the week of somebody who has broken their arm a couple of days ago. The first person... Oh, we've got to say what the product is, haven't we? What's the product, Doc? What are they going to win? What have we got this week? Got anything lined
It's
up?
a Unite cap.
A Unite Components cap. Just like that.
That one.
So, who... You got the picture up, Doc?
I've flipped back to the studio now.
Okay, well, who has broken their arm a couple of days ago?
Yeah.
First person to say
Who it is?
whose this is will win this cap.
Whose is this broken arm?
Any clues?
I don't think we need clues.
He won't be riding for a few weeks.
Actually, to give people who
So,
maybe aren't local a clue.
I'll give a clue. I'll give a clue.
Loads of people.
Oh, we got the
Already.
answer.
Okay,
We got
come
the
on then.
answer.
And this will be a local person that wins it, I'm sure.
Hold on, let me find the first one.
Yeah, don't make sure you get the right one, otherwise we'll be giving away about 20 hats again.
Alex Lloyd.
Alex Lloyd.
Lloydie.
Well done.
In the post. Can I give something away?
We could probably hand
Yes.
deliver that one, I guess.
Can I give
I'll
something
tell you
away?
what, you give something away. Have you got a question?
Got a question.
Okay.
There, this is off Madison Saracen factory race team. Will Longdon might tell me off for giving that away. We'll
Nice.
see. How old am I in years?
Phew.
First one to answer that can win
No,
that
he's
cap.
not.
Are you older than me or younger?
We'll find out.
I think we're about the same, aren't we? You just had a hard
Give me some
paper
answers.
round.
What are people saying?
So we got a winner on
Mark Horrocks is saying 45.
Who?
Mark Horrocks 45. Andrew Dodd 42. Craig
Oh.
Snowy Taylor 46.
Ooh, Snowy. Out of order.
Robert Butcher 39.
Oh, yeah, close, Robin. Yeah.
Harry Fisher 31.
Yes, he's right.
Yeah, whatever.
Who said 45?
Hold on.
It's got to be the first correct one, Doc.
Mark Horrocks.
Mark Horrocks, you're going to win that. Don't tell Will Longdon. Right, one more. Pink bike t-shirt.
Oh, there.
In a
Taking over
in a
it is.
small. What is my dog's name? Correct spelling.
Name of the dog?
While that
45, dude. Someone just said no, the dog's not 45.
While you get that, media happenings, what's been going on? I've noticed a lot of race dates have been coming online, people talking. There's, like we said before, you got the POC.
Craig
Go on.
Snowy Taylor.
What
What's
about
it
him?
said?
Hensley.
Hensley, there you go.
He's doing alright, isn't he, eh?
He said I was 46. I don't think.
Can you hold
Tell
that
him
up?
this.
Can you just
tell
hold
him
that up?
this?
In a small.
I
He's
tell
got
you now,
big
that ain't
voice.
going to fit you, Snowy, I'm afraid to
Might
say.
fit his little lad that's ripping at Kimber at the moment.
Should we do this as well?
Kimber Free Ride Jam, 19th of February.
That was on my list.
Oh, sorry.
So that's me to do it, not you.
Can I do the question for that one then?
Yes.
And then it's not one of your mates who you've already told the answers to. Right then, this is a bike parts.
So Faustfislade, it's in Austria. They do a kids club. You can go there for a week and ride there. It's pretty good.
Okay. Now, if you get this right, by the way, you need to message us at Pin TV on our Facebook page and tell us your address, etc. So, the question to win this is: when me and Stu went abroad and we did our vlog from a certain country, and I poured salt on his wound, what country was it?
First
That
person wins the cap.
Yeah. Okay. So
That'll come
things
up again in
going
a
on.
minute.
Have you seen this BMX video by Baz Keep?
I haven't seen it, but I have
This is
seen
the
the
guy
picture.
who's
and it looks
doing
a
like
bit nuts.
a sort of down. Oh, it's like it's a ramp up over some railings, massive gap. I mean, it would have absolutely wiped him out if it had gone wrong. And then he's wall riding directly down. It's mental. So have a look on Facebook. Just put
That's
in
pretty cool.
or I guess it's on YouTube. Baz Keep. Ooh, that's a bit nasty.
But we were talking about nasty because
Yes.
you said to me, "Can people see that?"
Yes.
Sorry, kids.
Hold on.
No.
We've got a couple.
You were getting told off then, you thought, didn't
I
you?
did, I
Was
thought-
that you?
Yeah, look.
Is that you?
It looked.
Honestly?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is.
Jesus, when I saw that, sorry about the swearing, but how did you do that?
Oh, I wasn't wearing a
I
helmet.
think it's.
Honestly, that was
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
How long ago was that?
7, 8 years ago.
You got a scar on your head?
Yeah.
Let's have a look
It's on
then.
that side.
Let me have a look. You're a liar, you are. It explains
Yeah.
bloody what's going on
Andy
inside your head.
Phillips.
Andrew Phillips, nice one, dude. Good one. So you've got that. What did he say, Doc, by the way?
Portugal.
Yes, he got it
Ah,
right.
So
right.
just talking about, we were talking about the Red Bull rider.
Yes, Baz Keep doing this. That's pretty minging, so if you've got kids, don't let them look at it.
But yeah, if you ride it without a helmet,
That's not him, by the way.
In this video with Baz, it shows a lot of practicing to start with and doing little wall rides and this and that, and he's got just a cap on, and I was like looking at that thinking, oh my god, you know, it's fair enough. I know loads of BMXers won't wear a lid and that's up to them, but Red Bull, where's your responsibility there? You know, if you're the ones sort of promoting all this and you're putting the footage out there, and kids are looking up to this, going,
They
oh,
are.
he doesn't wear a lid, I'm not going to wear a lid. It's just a bit daft. I think they need to think about what they're doing a bit there.
Fair comment,
this
yeah.
to me, Red Bull.
Yeah.
So, latest vlog we've got online is what's in your pack.
What's in your pack? Yeah.
Not on about my pants, it's on about what I go racing with, what on my bum bag. So that's quite interesting information for those who want to take up a bit of racing.
I'm having
in
a swap
general.
of hats here, I'm afraid.
And the next one we've got coming up, the next vlog we got coming up is kids racing. From when our kids went, Tyler did a
That'll
downhill
be fun,
race,
yeah.
and Todd did his first sort of enduro race, one of the Welsh enduros. And that's just from the 2 weekends.
So any of you out there that are thinking of getting your kids to a race and hoping for them to take part, that's probably give you quite a good insight to it, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So that's quite
And
good.
for the first timers who don't know about Pin TV, I just want to say our core thing is that we are a YouTube channel called Pin TV, and we really need you to subscribe, to comment, to like it. And because, and this is big news now, and some of you might not like this, but we are planning in the next few weeks to change from Facebook to YouTube Live, which makes a massive difference to us in getting our subscribers. But to start with, we will be running it alongside Facebook Live, but you'll have to go onto YouTube Live to comment and interact. So that's how we're going to start, isn't it, Doc, and do the sort of crossover.
When's that starting, dude?
We don't know exactly yet. It's going to be a few weeks.
I was thinking the sort of 6th of Feb.
Yeah.
First Monday in February.
Right,
Okay.
And then we'll take it from Feb. And it gives people chance. We can talk about it every week and let them know.
Yeah.
Basically, guys, to comment on YouTube, you need to be subscribed. So if you're not a YouTube user, get onto YouTube, set yourself up.
Really
a
simple
username,
to do.
Tell your mates.
and subscribe to the channel, and then you'll be able to interact. Because the problem with YouTube, it's a better platform, it's better quality, but unless you're signed into it or subscribed to, have a YouTube account, if you're just viewing it, you can't actually interact with it, and that's what we found.
And the 6th of February, Doc, that's when we've got a guest is Ian Dixon, and this guy does all the laser treatment. He did the laser treatment on my ankle when I did it, and he looks after a lot of famous riders, motocrossers, all sorts. Danny Art's one of his mates. He looks after him, and I've also asked somebody else to come along who's involved in that kind of level of work, and it will be like just a special,
That'll
really,
be a
all
good
about
one, actually.
recovery.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
recovery from injuries.
Can I butt in?
Yes.
Because I think we'll probably forget it. So you mentioned before about this event. It's the Kimver Winter Jam. Are you a local now? Are you actually a local now?
I've been a few times with I I go with Nell. You know Nell?
I know Nell.
I know Nell. There's a good dual track there now as well.
Yeah, so I believe we can say that now because on the updated flyer, it actually says there's going to be a barbecue, a whip-off. There's going to be a dual slalom race now, which is quite cool.
Yeah,
so we were trying to keep that a bit quiet last week, but by all accounts, everybody can know about it, and that looks really, really good. So anybody that's interested, just visit Facebook and type in Kimber Freeride Park, and you'll have the information.
And there's some big jumps there.
And there's some big jumps, which the big question this week that I know everybody wants to know is what happened on the fence gap. And for anybody that that hasn't actually seen it, can they watch it anywhere?
It wasn't. Snowy's got it on his Facebook page. It was on my Facebook.
Maybe you could send it us for next week.
Snowy, if you're watching, maybe you could forward the video to us so we can broadcast it and show everybody how to jump 75% of a gap jump.
75%. I'm going to jump to about 20%. It was the biggest case in the world. The tyre marks are about that far down.
You need a lawyer.
I landed that to stop, but the head tube didn't snap of the Saracen mist.
All credit, it's a bloody big jump.
It's pretty big.
And yeah, it is a big jump, and fair play to you doing that.
Yeah, fair play.
Like 40.
We may be similar on racing, but I will say he's way better than me at jumping.
There's some big jumps at Kimber.
And it's twice as far for him because he's only half my height.
Well, I suppose, yeah. But there is some small jumps as well. We don't want to put people off. Yeah. So that place is, I'm a big fan of that place. It's got very small stuff. We've took the kids there, and there's, you can start right at the bottom and move on to the very big stuff.
As big as you want to go almost in some.
Yeah, exactly. But they're really friendly people there as well. So
talking of videos,
let me just say the date.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
February the 19th, isn't it?
Yeah.
February the 19th, Sunday the February the 19th. So get yourselves over there. We'll be there.
Park responsibly and take your litter with you as well.
Yeah. Boss has spoken.
So let's get the crash of the week on.
Do you want to talk?
I'll talk about this because I went to Dovey with team rider Ben Wotton, who is incredibly good in ruts from being one of the best British hare scramble riders in the country, but wasn't so good there, as you can see. He was absolutely flat out down those ruts, and then it all went a bit pear-shaped for him. He's all right though, man.
All went a bit peaked on.
Yeah.
What about the? Are we having a proper photo of the week now as well? Seeing as we've done the.
No,
sorry.
But what we did is, so people did answer the question. It was our good friend and host on the show occasionally, Sandy. So
broke his arm.
Get well soon, dude.
Showing off. I asked him what he'd done. He said I was showing off a bit. So,
but at least it's his left one, you know. What I mean? So the right one will still be working, dude.
Yeah. He needs that a lot.
Could have got a colour match on his t-shirt with that plaster. That's awful.
Can I give away this brand new Fox wallet, which unfortunately hasn't got any money in it?
Yeah, I'll have it.
So it was Jordan's then.
And those BDS Legends bands. Because people won't know where Kimber is.
Well,
what's the nearest major town to Kimber?
Don't you know?
Well, I know where it is.
Costs a fortune in postage, isn't it? Giving all this stuff away.
Nearest, it begins with S. That's the town I'm looking for.
I know what it is.
Hey? Are you sure? Have you done
it's
your
definitely
Google
not
Maps?
It's not K, is it? It's not that one, is it? We might.
I was thinking W, maybe? Or not?
Craig Snowy Taylor saying
no.
Kidderminster?
No.
That doesn't begin with S.
You're giving all your mates a big local advantage here.
Mark Ryan. I know Mark Ryan.
So what is the local place to Kimber, right?
Stourbridge.
Is that close to the Wolverley?
That's not... Wolverley's like
it's a bloody village.
Oh, look, I'm from Birmingham. Do you know what I mean? You're talking a big place. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry about this, folks. He'll be going soon.
You live in the sticks. I went to his house. I had to have a tiddle up his bush. That's the kind of area you live in.
Quite a few people have tiddled up my bush, but that's a different story. Anyway, look, right, so have you finished giving stuff away now?
Yes.
Right.
Are you going to leave us some money for postage? So I want to talk about next week. This is not 100% yet, but this could be quite cool. Next week is this year's first core bike show. I say first, it's the first trade show and it's core bike show in...
first?
Yeah. The first bike show of the year.
Oh, beg your pardon.
2017.
Yeah,
It's been on before, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Several
It is. What's the area?
Whittlebury Hall.
Whittlebury Hall. We're going down as Pin TV, and we're going to be doing loads of vlogging from there. Lots of fresh products, etc., etc. But we had an idea today because the night that we're staying down there clashes with the show, and what we were going to do is have the show on a Tuesday. But then Doc said, "What about doing the show from down there?" So I've been on to our friend Keith Jepson, who organises it, and asking about the sort of upload download speed, which sounds like it's good, and he's given me a contact there. I've emailed him today. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have a live show from there, and we'll have all sorts of guests on, distributors, people involved in it. It could be really cool. So, and we can drink there as well, because none of us are driving, so I don't know what sort of state we'll be in by then, but it could be a funny show, put it that way.
It could be like TGI Friday.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Chris Evans.
And you're staying there, I believe.
In the Pink Bike crew.
Oh.
Who were they? What? So we might be able to drag our friend here in for a word, depending on what state he's in.
I'm going to be absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
So you're quite in with Pink Bike, aren't you?
I've done a
You
little
work
bit
for
with
them,
them.
don't you?
I've done some work with them for about the last 10. I did wear the t-shirt as well.
Look at all that Pink Bike promotion. I'm sure that all that promotion that they will promote us.
Absolutely
They're bound
will.
to, aren't
I'm
they?
sure
If
they
they were
will.
decent people, they would. You never know.
I don't do too much from these days. I'm just kind of. They need a face
Yeah.
for their
yeah.
UK arm.
Mm.
So anyway, look,
That sounds
we're almost
familiar.
there. What I want to know is, we've asked you a few questions, and we've got the lowdown of, what has happened. Are you going to race again? Are we going to see you at a race, taking part again? Because I think that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Take a bit of time out and have
Race?
some fun. Yeah.
You look like you've lost a bit. When I saw you at Core Bike Show last year, I thought you were pregnant. So you must be in training a little bit.
Are we going to see a race? Forget about BMX, because I know that
We
you
could
love
have
BMX.
that big competition going again.
Come on, have a race.
I'm not going to do any good at enduro.
Why
It's not
not?
fit enough for enduro.
Just
I could
get
do a mini
fit.
enduro. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't ride around Dovey.
Okay.
That's for those elite boys.
Well, I think
wouldn't
you
mind-
should. You guys should make sure that you're at the same event and have a head-to-head.
Yeah.
Why don't we do something like me and you do a mini downhill? A
Well, there's one-
mini enduro.
There's a mini downhill in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, but you go on the Saturday and practice.
No, I don't. I didn't last time.
It's full anyway. He won't get in.
Yeah.
I can get it.
Ooh,
I would like to do like a big. I might even try and get into the. Well, it's not open. Isn't it? National champs downhill, 45 to 49 category.
Where's that at?
Ridderfellen. I could give old Mark Waitman a run for his money.
Do you reckon you could?
No,
Yeah.
he'll beat me. It is. The whole.
He'll kill himself to beat you.
Wakey.
Kill himself to beat anyone for
Absolutely
anyone
not
who knows him anyway.
There we
So
go.
listen, boys.
Anything
We
else?
have dragged on now
And my tea's going
for
soggy.
an hour and a quarter, which is good timing, and we have said we don't want to be going on to the 1.5 hour mark again.
Which we've almost done.
So I think all that's left to say is, as usual, we give out our Instagram accounts. Jim Buchanan 955 at DocoPod.
At Dockerpod, yeah.
DOCOPOD. I always get it wrong. At Stu Hughes 954.
Don't bother putting that in because you won't get hold of me. Thanks for that.
I say this every
at,
week.
At Hughes 954.
Why not? Why 954? What's that mean?
Really quickly, Jim.
I've got the number 955, which was Steve McQueen's race number back in the day,
Yeah.
and when I adopted that, Stu took 954 because
Yeah.
he always wants to get one ahead of me.
And our friend Miles had 956.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
right.
Another friend of ours, Rosie, had 953. So
That's
a lot
it,
of
yeah.
people have kind of circulated around it.
So what's your Instagram account?
Is it Jester or something? Jester, would it be?
At Euroboy.com.
Euroboy.
No.
That sounds worse than Jester.
That's hippie rich thing. No, at British Downhill.
At British
Yeah,
Downhill.
that's all you need
So
to
if
know.
you want to follow Si, at British
But don't
Downhill.
follow me because I don't put anything up about what I've had for my dinner or anything. So just bike related stuff.
Yeah.
BDS. It's not
So,
about.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, appreciated.
We
Thanks
do
for being
appreciate
honest.
it. Yeah, yeah. And you were honest, and you're a good guest.
We might have you on again sometime.
Sometimes it's useful to
really
be gobby.
rude to me outside.
Give it over. It was a show of affection. On
That's it.
that
That'll
note,
be the rule in future. Just get gobby people in.
Thank you. No, great setup, guys. You obviously can watch this on the replay. tell all your friends.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna crash the party at Cool Bike next week.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you there again anyway.
Subscribe to YouTube, Pin TV. Thanks for having us.
and enjoy the prizes.
See you next
Cheers,
week.
guys.
Have a good week.
See you later.
Catch you soon, guys. Ta-da.